We've driven to Mission Beach and we're now officially in tropical North Queensland. Welcome to Daintree Rainforest. This is the oldest rainforest in the world. Our campsite is just through there, and out there is the Great Barrier Reef. Welcome to the Great Barrier Reef. We're James and Amy, and we recently quit our jobs to travel for a year. Bit rainy. After spending 3 months in New Zealand, we're now in Australia. Join us as we road trip up the east coast, from Sydney to Cairns. We've arrived in Mission Beach and we're now officially in tropical North Queensland. We're staying in Mission Beach Camping and Caravan Park, and it's right on the edge of the beach. This is the beach here, just outside our campsite. It normally looks a lot nicer than this, but it's pretty windy at the moment. One of the main things to do in Mission Beach is to try and see a wild cassowary, which is the 3rd biggest bird in the world. It's only native to here and Papua New Guinea, so there's very few of them in the wild. I think there's only a few thousand. It'll be really cool if we get to see one. We're just going to head out on a walk now where there's supposed to be a reasonable chance of seeing them. So wish us luck. So we're parked over there in the Lacey Creek day use area, and this is the walk we're doing to hopefully go and find a cassowary. That is what we're looking for. Let's go! Apparently the cassowary can be quite aggressive with people, so you're not meant to get too close to them. It really feels like we've reached that point in Australia where everything is trying to kill you. We are definitely in the rainforest now. We just passed somebody going in the opposite direction on the track, and she said she didn't see a cassowary during this walk and has been here for months and never seen one. So we're not holding out much hope that we're going to see one today. Amy technically saw one yesterday as we drove past, but it was just at the side of the road, and ideally we'd like to see one in the wild, so we're going to keep looking. Okay, we couldn't find any, and the mosquitoes were starting to get pretty intense, so we've turned around and we're heading back now. Apparently there's a nice croc-free place to swim in the creek, so we're gonna head there next. We've just reached the little swimming spot next to the Lacey Creek rest area, and as usual, too cold for me, but Amy is going to jump in.
Oh, it's nice and cool.
Oh, shuffle along. I've just noticed that I've got leeches biting me through my socks. Gotta get these off. Good morning. We're still in Mission Beach, and last night our new friends Brady and Andy invited us round to their amazing caravan for dinner. It was so nice. Andy is a nutritionist and a very good cook, so dinner was amazing, and it was really nice to make friends on the road as well. They were parked up right next to us and we got talking. They left this morning and are on their way to the Tablelands. And hopefully we're going to meet up again when we're both in Cairns, which should be really nice. Today the weather is much nicer, so we're going to head out on a walk. Still going to keep an eye out for cassowary, but not holding our hopes out. We've just started our walk, which is the Bicton Hill circuit track. It's a 4-kilometre loop that takes us up to a lookout, which is supposed to have really nice views. But it starts with a pretty steep zigzag up the side of this hill. We've only been going about 10 minutes and we've just reached our first lookout, which is pretty nice. Just saw a baby snake. I did manage to film it, but I don't think it's that easy to see. Very cool though, saw its little head, and not that scary. We just reached the lookout. Very nice. I'm pretty sweaty, but the walk wasn't too difficult. It took us around half an hour, so it'll take us about an hour in total. Yeah, pretty nice view to finish it off. Today we've left Mission Beach and are heading towards Daintree via Atherton Tablelands. And we've just arrived at our first stop in the Tablelands, Millaa Millaa Falls. It's pretty crazy that we've only got 7 days left in the van. I am going to miss the van and the freedom that it's given us, but I am not going to miss sleeping in it. The mattress is so uncomfortable, especially compared to the van that we had in New Zealand, and it gets really hot and humid at night. So I am looking forward to air conditioning and having a real bed again. It has been 5 months of living in a van though, so I think that's okay.
Wow, that's so cool.
This is a pretty popular filming location, but the one it's probably most famous for people in the UK and Australia, is it was used in Peter Andre's Mysterious Girl music video. Millaa Millaa Falls was really nice. Amy had a bit of a swim, and now it's just started pouring with rain. So we've come back to the car and we're going to head to our next stop, which is Lake Eacham. Although maybe we won't head there if it's raining like this. One bit of advice that we were given when driving to the Tablelands that I thought was pretty useful is that there are 3 roads to get here. There's one in the north, one in the middle and one in the south. And if you're driving in a van like this, you pretty much need to avoid the middle road, as it's pretty steep, windy and quite dangerous if you're not an experienced driver. So that road is called the Gillies Range Road, and initially when I heard about that I was kind of put off driving here, but we bumped into somebody else who said they were coming here in a similar vehicle and they said the north and the south roads are totally fine. So that's what we're doing. We've come up the south road and we're going to go north via the north road, so we're avoiding the Gillies Range Road altogether. So that's made the Tablelands feel a lot more accessible in a van that really struggles on the hills. But yeah, now we're going to head on our way to our next stop, which is either Lake Eacham or we're going to continue up to Mossman Gorge. It's been raining pretty much all day, so we decided not to stop and to just keep going all the way to Daintree, which is where we are now. We've just checked into our campsite, which is right on the river, and then tomorrow morning we're going to be crossing the river by ferry and heading into Daintree Rainforest properly, which I'm really excited about. We're going to go back to Mossman Gorge in a couple of days when we start heading south towards Cairns. But for now, we're just excited to be exploring the rainforest. We've got a lot of fun stuff planned. We're going to be going on a river cruise. Hopefully we're going to be going snorkeling again. And we're also going to be doing a night tour of the rainforest. So lots of exciting plans. We've just arrived at Daintree River Cruise Centre, and we're going to take a cruise out onto the river where we're hopefully going to see some crocodiles. That was so good. We managed to spot 3 baby crocs, which apparently is pretty good for this time of year. All the crocs are nesting at the moment, so there aren't that many adults around, but seeing 3 babies is really good. So I'm really happy with that. It was definitely worth doing. But yeah, now we're going to go and head to the river crossing, which is going to take us into the rainforest. Welcome to Daintree Rainforest. This is the oldest rainforest in the world. It's 130 million years old. And to put that into context, the Amazon is only 55 million years old. So this is more than twice as old as the Amazon, which is very cool. We've just come to the Daintree Discovery Centre, which has this walkway that takes you through the rainforest canopy. It's just started pouring with rain. There is a reason why it's called a rainforest. We've arrived in Cape Tribulation and checked into our campsite. We're staying at Cape Tribulation Safari Lodge and Camping, and now we are about to make our dinner in the camp kitchen before heading out on a night tour later, which is going to be really cool. We just got back from snorkelling out on the Great Barrier Reef. We went with a company called Ocean Safari, which is connected to our campsite, and they took us just 30 minutes from the beach next to our campsite, and it was this amazing place to snorkel. Unfortunately, my GoPro overheated, so I wasn't actually able to film anything, but it really was an amazing trip. It was one of the best snorkels I've ever done. We managed to swim alongside a green turtle, we saw stingrays, we saw loads of fish. It was so cool. We weren't sure if we were even going to go and do this snorkel, as we're doing a snorkel and introductory dive down in Cairns in a few days. So yeah, we weren't sure whether we were going to pay for 2 of them, but I'm so glad that we did. It was such a good experience. We're just getting the van packed up now because today we're heading south to Cairns, but on the way we're going to be stopping at Mossman Gorge. So this is the main beach in Cape Tribulation. On one side is the rainforest, and on the other is the Great Barrier Reef. This is where we got picked up to do our snorkeling tour, and it took us 30 minutes in that direction to some of the most incredible snorkeling I've ever done. Apparently there are loads of crocs here, and they probably already know that I'm here and are watching me. This is such a unique part of the world, because there are very few places where you have rainforest right next to a coral reef. It's such an amazing place, and it's the furthest north that we're going to be doing on this road trip. It's all south from here. Watch out for crocs! We've arrived at Mossman Gorge, which is this really picturesque gorge in Daintree National Park near the town of Mossman, and we're here to do a walk through the rainforest. This is a 2.5 kilometre circuit track that runs alongside the river. What's really cool about this park is that it's owned and run by the local community. So 90% of the employees are Aboriginal, and all the information is about all the different traditional uses of the plants and things like that. So it's really interesting. That looked like such a nice spot for a swim, but unfortunately you can't swim in any of this water. It would have been quite nice to cool off though. These walks in the rainforest are pretty tough. Just due to the humidity, it really takes it out of you. It was only 2.5 kilometres this walk. I'm exhausted. We're just arriving back at the car park now, and we're going to finish our drive down to Cairns. It's a couple of days later and we're in Cairns. Yesterday we went out and did a full day snorkeling tour out on the Great Barrier Reef. The tour group was much bigger than the one in Cape Tribulation, and it was around an hour and a half from the coast to reach the reef compared to just 30 minutes from Cape Tribulation, but it was still an amazing experience. We didn't get to see a turtle, but we did get to see loads of amazing fish. Just the sheer quantity of fish that were there was unlike anything I'd ever seen. So it's been quite a hectic few days. First up in Cape Tribulation and then coming back down and doing a full day out on the reef yesterday. So we're going to have quite a chilled day today. We're going to head into Cairns and probably go to the aquarium. Today is our last day in Cairns before we have to drop the van off tomorrow. So we've spent all morning tidying up the van and getting packed up. It's now the afternoon and we've met up with Brady and Andy, who we met in Mission Beach, to come to a few swimming spots near Cairns. We've just arrived at our first spot, which is Fairy Falls. It was a little bit of a scramble across some rocks to get here, but it was definitely worth it. It looks amazing. And it's so humid today, I might actually get into that cold water. A snake?
No, I can't see it. It was really small. It was somewhere around here.
We've left Fairy Falls and come to our second swimming spot. This is Crystal Cascades. It was a lot easier to get to than Fairy Falls, but for that reason it's much busier. So that's the end of our time here in Cairns and the end of our East Coast road trip. It's crazy to think how far we've come. We've driven thousands of miles across 2 states, 2 different time zones, and I read somewhere that driving from Sydney to Cairns is the equivalent of driving from Edinburgh to Istanbul. So it's pretty far. We're just about to have breakfast now, and then we're going to go and drop our van off before heading to the airport and on to our next destination. Thank you so much for watching these videos from our East Coast road trip. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.